So my next panelist is an expert in that area. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Sunshine Medical Care. He's also a doctoral student as well. And he is a very seasoned management professional. It's none other than Mr. Thiru Sayanthan. Welcome, Sayanthan, to our discussion, and thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thanks, Oshan. Thanks for having me there.
Sayanthan, now I know your pet area is entrepreneurship. So I'd like to pose a question from that itself. Now, prior to this pandemic, how do you see the mindset of a typical retailing entrepreneur work in the context in Sri Lanka? What was their mindset towards retailing?
Okay, so Oshan, if you take the entrepreneurs per se, the statistics from the Sri Lanka Ministry of Industry and Commerce say that 75% of all entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka fall into the SME category. Now, this is something that we need to digest. Most of them are in the SME category, and they contribute 52% of the GDP and 45% of the employment. But here comes the alarm for Sri Lanka. The labor statistics suggest that we badly need like 5-fold increase in entrepreneurs, because if you take the entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka, that accounts only for 2.8%. And if you compare these figures to some of the regional countries like Thailand, they have about 27.5% of entrepreneurs. If you take Vietnam, it's 19.6. If you take Indonesia, it's 15.3. And even countries like Bangladesh is at 11.6. So Sri Lanka, there's a huge opportunity for entrepreneurs, and it's just at 2.8 as per the latest statistics from the Labor Statistics Department. So largely when I speak of entrepreneurs today, I'm speaking of people like who are trading, who do buying and selling. I'm talking of barbers and beauticians. I'm talking of teachers and tuition masters. I'm talking of cameramen and media personnel, hoteliers, etc. So if you take this category, pre-COVID, I would say people took things for granted. Now, what do you mean by took things for granted is they worked in a very comfortable environment because they had their own customers and clients. So they were not sure what's going to be my income or what's going to be my revenue. They knew their cost structure. They knew their return on investment. They knew where the cash was coming. So this was the environment how an entrepreneur operated in a pre-COVID environment. Let's see whether the COVID-19 can bring more entrepreneurs to Sri Lanka. And that would be my answer on a pre-COVID area, Oshan.
Great. Thanks a lot, Sayanthan, for that insightful information. So from what I understand from talking to both Bertram and Sumit, is clearly cash flow is an issue, and then there are certain regulations that are hindering, and then there are certain shortages of labor due to this situation, and that's restricting the organization. So this is definitely not a comfortable environment for an entrepreneur, for example, or a self-employed person, which is going to be my next question posed to Sayanthan. So Sayanthan, given that the market is not functioning, the supply side is stuck, the demand, the regulatory, everything has really pressed the entrepreneur to his or her limits. How do you see them responding to this situation? Because entrepreneur immediate, they are an asset to a nation, any nation. So the way they react will decide a lot of things. So how do you think they are coping up with this current, threatening environment, a scary environment?
Oshan, if you see, our entrepreneurs are used to floods, or they got little impacts like the Easter attack, and they had little things and they came back. But this time, the impact is from a virus which is not visible to a naked eye, which shook the whole world. So this changed the environment of an entrepreneur drastically. Now, if you see the ADB figures, ADB estimates $2 to 4.1 trillion business impact globally. Now, just imagine if that's the business impact, how would that affect an entrepreneur? Now, Bertram spoke of pay cut. For an entrepreneur, it's not pay cut, simply no revenue. I mean, at least when you get a pay cut, you get some sort of money coming into your pocket. At least you can buy your basic stuff. But if you see the calamity of an entrepreneur, there's no revenue. Maybe the few workers he has, there may be variable costs coming down. But we being an independent or an import-dependent nation with dollar going up, unfortunately, the dollar also shot up, the cost went up. So the fixed cost remained, the cost going up. So for an entrepreneur, the profits came down. And worst of all, now you heard the corporate suffered because there were no payment and cash flow for an issue. Just imagine an entrepreneur getting his payment at this time. So, but he has his own debts because you know, for an entrepreneur, he depends on his funding, and cash flow were a big issue. These were the issues what an entrepreneur underwent. So simply, if I put all together, the first thing what affected the entrepreneur was he was emotionally challenged. So he didn't know what to do. So we saw a lot of panic coming in. So he was simply panicked. We saw a lot of entrepreneurs losing their temper. A lot of stress factors came into them and leading to a lot of frustration. So these were some of the reaction of entrepreneurs. But you know, entrepreneurs are disruptors. You know, entrepreneurs are innovators. So what did they do? So if I take some examples, how some of the entrepreneurs survived this COVID situation, a good friend of mine who had a salon simply didn't have any clients at all. 1 week, 2 weeks, March ended, how on? So from April, I saw this lady starting an academy and started having classes on the Zoom. So that's something I saw. And today, when things open up, she has a different set of clients coming to her for the good work she did in April. I'll share another example. I know a dental surgeon. I mean, nobody came in for dental procedures during COVID time and it was all shut down. So he had an empty land where he went into cultivation of fruits and vegetables. So today he says, I am getting back to my dental surgery, plus I have another income coming from vegetable and fruits, which I would have never thought of if not for COVID. Then I have a person handling garments. So garment factory, he does only the t-shirts and he targets the New Year time to sell them. Now he had the t-shirts in place, but he could not sell that at all. I mean, it's all stuck in his warehouse. He didn't know what to do, but then he immediately identified with the mass demand coming in. See how an entrepreneur did. He didn't have the 3-ply or he didn't have the materials for KN95 or N95. No, he simply used the cloth that he had because he knows there is a market for cloth masks. He started stitching them and he started marketing them and he managed his survival. If I take another example, which should be my last example, I saw the retailers, when the shops were closed, they used the village 3-wheelers and started delivering items to the villagers, the houses close by. So these were some of the survival strategies adopted by entrepreneurs. I would say quite innovative, largely survival strategies. And this is what the entrepreneur did, Oshan, during the tough times. So that would be my answer, how they managed the COVID situation.
Great. So from what I understood, despite of all the problems, entrepreneurs were still creative enough to think differently. Fixed cost to a bare minimum, while variable costs can be brought to the forefront. So that way, for example, if I may put to a practice, performance-based incentives can have a greater weightage than the fixed salary, for example. So those are things that moving forwards, entrepreneurs can give a thought to. And with that point, in addition to that, Sayanthan, what do you think entrepreneurs should do? In addition to that, what should they do right now to capitalize on this? Even though this is a threat, this is an opportunity for an entrepreneur. In this opportunity, what should Sri Lankan retail entrepreneurs do? This includes the hires to the the self-employed person in manning market, for example.
Okay. Okay. So, Oshan, I would first of all say there's a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurs itself. So, all the young students, all the budding people, tomorrow when you go to the job market, don't sit and cry. There's no job. Don't go to the streets and protest. There's a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurship. That would be my first statement. So, go ahead and think well. Do something creative. Do something innovative. Where there's a lot of opportunities coming in. As you said, for the entrepreneurs who are big or who fall into the SME category, my first advice is be prepared. Because this hit us a lot of things we were not prepared. Now we are learning, and sometimes we are learning the hard way. So it's a biggest thing, be prepared. And also we should have the mental capacity. Earlier, since I mentioned of stress and frustration and temper, all that, I think we should have the mental capacity, increase the emotional quotient, better known as EQ, to stay strong. We need to think positive. We need to believe in oneself, especially from an entrepreneur point of view. And I think we need to change and adapt ourselves to the new normal. From a business point of view, it's going to be the new business environment. So we can't expect and go back and expect the same things to happen. So we need to adapt ourselves. So an entrepreneur need to look at or relook at, I would say, at the revenue structure and the cost structure. Because this is going to change, and this is what's going to change your business model. So when you change, when I say you need to relook at the revenue or the cost structure, sometimes that taken for granted customer, I think you need to relook at who is your customer, who is the segment, and who is your target market. Okay, by default you would have got the sales, but go back, think who is that customer who brings your sale, and who is the target market I am positioning my product. We need to rekindle relationship. Something I saw during the COVID time also, some people didn't keep silent. They kept connected to the customer. So we need to have that relationship, and that's something, it's a big element. Sometimes we take it for granted. Be it the supplier, be it the customer, work on those relationships. I feel it's a big factor. Sometimes we ignore in doing business. We need to relook at the channels, because COVID-19 had made some of the intermediaries totally taken out. Some of the intermediaries are disrupted. So see whether you can use, I'm sure Dushivit shed a lot of light on online, whether we can go direct to the customer. So relook at your channels, how to reach your customer. I would always say, don't sell no frills product. Always differentiate and offer value to the customer. So if you are a person, if you are selling product, see that in a manner whether your target audience, that you are selling the most wanted product that you want. Or if you are in services, are you offering a service that the customer that most wanted? So this would be my little bit of advice from an entrepreneur's point of view, because I always believe entrepreneurs are fighters, entrepreneurs are optimistic, and entrepreneurs are resilient. So hence, I don't see anything going wrong for entrepreneurs. They will be always successful. That will be my remark, Oshan.
Yes, thanks a lot, Santhan. So, and I'm getting a lot of questions from the audience. So I would like to take this opportunity to also bring about a few questions posed by the audience. One of them have asked whether the full-time management professionals in time to come would turn into part-time entrepreneurs. And this question goes to Santhan. Do you think it will happen?
Would say, see, I think in being in Sri Lanka, this environment, we are lucky, Oshan. But if you see, I was told in US in just 15 days, some 10 million odd people lost the job. And there's a lot of job being lost. I feel the trend is changing, the market is changing. Yes, there's a lot of opportunities, and I would say wear that entrepreneurial hat. And even if you're working in an organization, be an entrepreneur. And if you think that way, yes, I think time to come, I would say we would have the knowledge worker concept. A person would be permanent in many places. I don't think a person would be glued to one permanent place. Now, see, I work for an organization, I'm glued in that place. I work only for 10 years. Future, the job market may change, where I may offer my services to 3 or 4 partners, where I may become temporary. Yes, the job market too will change, and I would say they would partially become entrepreneurs, will be my view, wearing the entrepreneurial hat, Oshan.
Cheers. I think that's a very straightforward. I hope the audience got the direct answer from the horse's mouth. So thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.